Milo was a boy who found little interest in anything. Whether it was the ticking of the clock, the books on his shelf, or the bustling world outside his window, nothing seemed exciting to him. Every day felt the same, dull, monotonous, and utterly unremarkable. He couldn't understand why the world was so insistent on moving forward when nothing seemed worth the effort. One afternoon, as Milo returned home from school, he found a peculiar package waiting for him in his room. It wasn't his birthday or any special occasion, so he couldn't imagine who might have sent it. The package was large and mysterious, and on top was an envelope addressed to him. Intrigued despite himself, Milo tore it open and found a note inside. For Milo, who has plenty of time to waste. A gift to make your days more interesting. The boy frowned but decided to open the box. Inside was the most unusual thing he had ever seen. A toll booth, fully assembled, complete with instructions, a map, and a tiny car just his size. It was painted in bright colors and looked as if it belonged in some fantastical storybook. Milo, for once, felt a spark of curiosity. "Why not?" he muttered, shrugging as he climbed into the tiny car and placed the map on his lap. Following the instructions, he drove through the toll booth, deposited a coin in the slot, and almost instantly felt the world shift around him. The walls of his room disappeared, and the humdrum world he knew melted away. He was no longer in his ordinary life. He was somewhere entirely new. Welcome to the lands beyond. Milo's car rolled into a strange and colorful land. The map he had been given labeled it as the lands beyond. Almost immediately, he encountered a signpost pointing in several directions. One arrow read Dictionopolis, another pointed toward Digitopolis, and a third, ominously, led to the Mountains of Ignorance. As he puzzled over where to go, a peculiar creature bounded toward him. The creature was part dog, part clock, with a body shaped like a stopwatch. His fur ticked like the hands of a timepiece, and his tail swung like a pendulum. "I'm Tak, the watchdog," said the creature, wagging his tail in rhythm. "Who are you, and why are you here?" "I'm Milo," the boy replied. "I don't really know why I'm here. I guess I was just bored." "Boredom is a terrible waste of time," Tak said sternly. "Time is precious. You can't just let it slip away." "I guess so," Milo said uncertainly. "Where should I go?" Tak glanced at the map and wagged his tail again. "Why not visit Dictionopolis first? It's the kingdom of words. You'll learn a lot there." The kingdom of words. Dictionopolis was a bustling city where every street corner was filled with words. Literally. Vendors shouted from their carts, selling adjectives, nouns, and verbs like candy. "Get your shiny new adjectives here," cried one vendor. "Fresh verbs, just in today," yelled another. Milo wandered through the streets in amazement until he came to the grand palace of King Azaz the Unabridged, the ruler of Dictionopolis. King Azaz was a flamboyant figure who loved words so much that he spoke in long, flowery sentences filled with synonyms. "Welcome, dear boy," the king boomed, "to my magnificent, extraordinary, and unparalleled kingdom. What brings you to our vibrant, lively, and spirited land?" Milo explained how he had found the toll booth and ended up in the lands beyond. King Azaz listened carefully, then told Milo about the ongoing conflict between Dictionopolis and its rival city, Digitopolis, the kingdom of numbers. The two kingdoms were always arguing about which was more important, words or numbers. But, the king added, lowering his voice, "The real problem is the absence of rhyme and reason. Without them, our lands have fallen into chaos. The quest for rhyme and reason." King Azaz explained that rhyme and reason were two wise princesses who had once brought harmony to the lands beyond. They had ruled fairly and justly, settling disputes between words and numbers. But years ago, they were banished to the Mountains of Ignorance by the wicked rulers of both kingdoms, who couldn't agree on anything. "You must rescue them," King Azaz declared, "for the good of all the lands beyond." Milo hesitated. He was just an ordinary boy. How could he possibly succeed in such a task? But with Tak by his side, he felt a surge of determination. "I'll do it," he said. Before Milo left, King Azaz handed him a gift. a tiny bag filled with the most important words he would ever need. Use them wisely, the king said. A visit to Digitopolis. On their way to the Mountains of Ignorance, Milo and Tok stopped in Digitopolis, the kingdom of numbers. Unlike the lively streets of Dictionopolis, Digitopolis was a place of precision and order. The city was filled with gears, equations, and numerical signs. They met the kingdom's ruler, the mathematically minded mathematician, who wore a long robe covered in numbers. He greeted Milo with a complex equation that Milo couldn't understand but appreciated nonetheless. The mathematician showed Milo the beauty of numbers, explaining how they formed the foundation of the universe. Without numbers, he said, nothing would work. No clocks, no buildings, no music. Milo realized that words and numbers were equally important in their own ways. The mathematician, impressed by Milo's insight, gave him a magical pencil that could solve any problem, no matter how difficult. The Mountains of Ignorance. With Tok, the bag of words, and the magic pencil, Milo journeyed into the treacherous Mountains of Ignorance. The landscape was bleak and filled with dangerous creatures called demons, each representing different kinds of ignorance. The terrible Trivium, who wasted time on meaningless tasks. The demon of insincerity, who lied to confuse travelers, and the census taker, who distracted people with trivial details. Milo used his cleverness and the tools he had been given to outwit each demon. When the terrible Trivium tried to trap him in endless, pointless tasks, Milo used King Azaz's words to explain the importance of focusing on what mattered. When the census taker tried to confuse him, Tok's ticking reminded Milo to stay grounded in the present, rescuing rhyme and reason. At last, Milo and Tok reached the tower where rhyme and reason were imprisoned. The princesses were grateful to see Milo, but the demons of the Mountains of Ignorance swarmed to stop their escape. Milo, Tok, and the princesses fought their way out, relying on teamwork, quick thinking, and the tools they had collected along the way. When they finally returned to the lands beyond, the kingdoms erupted in celebration. King Azaz and the mathematician, seeing the wisdom in Milo's actions, reconciled their differences. With rhyme and reason restored, harmony returned to the lands beyond. A new perspective. Milo bid farewell to his friends and returned through the Tollbooth to his own world. When he opened his eyes, he was back in his room, as if no time had passed at all. But Milo was different. He no longer saw the world as dull and meaningless. Instead, he realized that every moment was filled with possibilities, lessons, and adventures waiting to be discovered. The Tollbooth disappeared the next day, but Milo didn't mind. He had learned that he didn't need it to find excitement and wonder. Those things were always within reach if he looked for them. From that day on, Milo approached life with curiosity, courage, and a newfound appreciation for the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.